Hello and welcome back to another league guide. Today we're looking at the Belgian First Division A, which is the top flight of Belgian football and the only one that's available in FIFA 21. We're going to be looking at the league structure, which is fairly unique for European football, and then I'll guide you through some of the teams, the players, the transfers and the youth academy setups you need to be using if you're playing in the Belgian top flight. So the first thing we're going to look at is the structure, which has 18 competitors who play each other twice. This results in a total of 34 matches, usually between August and April, and as you would expect in football, 3 points for a win and 1 for a draw. At the end of these 34 matches, the top 4 teams from the regular season enter the championship playoff. The team that finishes first in the championship playoff ends up winning the championship of Belgium. The championship playoff takes all the points from the original league structure and halves them. Each team then plays each other twice, and as mentioned before, the top position ends up winning the championship. Since the championship playoff was introduced in 2009, 12 different teams have entered this, most of them being in the last 4 or 5 seasons. Antwerp and Sint-Truiden have both appeared once, with Sint-Truiden's last appearance being in 2009 and Antwerp's being in 2018. All of the teams have Every other team that's ever made it to a championship playoff has actually appeared twice or more, with the most successful teams being Club Brugge and Anderlecht, who have both appeared 10 out of the 10 seasons. Anderlecht have the best competition record out of everyone who's ever entered the playoffs, winning 5 of their 10 appearances. Despite this, Club Brugge actually average more points in playoff matches, but this just proves that consistency doesn't always win championships, and especially not in this format that they use in Belgium. The teams that finish between 7th and 16th are joined by 6 teams from the Belgian First Division B, which is not in FIFA, and then divided into 4 groups of 4 teams. These 16 teams play against each other in group stages, and eventually enter a knockout tournament, with the winner of this knockout tournament ending up playing against the team that finishes 5th in the league for the final Europa League slot. The team that finishes 18th and last in real life get relegated, but of course this isn't a thing on FIFA, and the team that finishes 17th play against the second best team from the second division in a playoff match, similarly to how it works in the Bundesliga. So now you know a bit more about the league, it's time to have a look at the clubs that play in Belgium. Of course, as mentioned before, Club Brugge and Anderlecht are 2 of the most successful teams. As you'd expect, these are also 2 of the highest rated teams in FIFA. Club Brugge actually have the 4 highest rated players out of the whole league, with their goalkeeper Simon Mignolet being the standout player in the league with an 81 rating. Ghent and Genk are also up there with the best teams in Belgium, with Genk being on par with Anderlecht and Ghent being the second best team behind Bruges. Antwerp, Charleroi and Liège are also European quality, so with 1 or 2 additions you can probably win the league with these teams. If you want more of a road to glory, you have plenty of choice in the Belgium League. In terms of rating, every team below Standard Liège is about the same, ranging from 69 to 68 rating. This is 11 teams with a difference of just a single point of rating, and they all also have similar budgets, ranging from €6 million down to €3.8 million. This just combines to mean if you want a road to glory team, you just have to choose the team you like the most off their kits, their badges, and any players that you know who've played for these in the past. For example, you might choose Beerschot because they had a lot of Croatians play for them in the early part of this century, or you might be an Australian who wants to play with Trent Sainsbury and try and bring some glory that way. So moving on to players rather than teams, you have a couple of higher reputation players who have joined the league in the recent years. Simon Mignolet, of course, as previously mentioned, is one of the best goalkeepers in Belgium, who also played for Liverpool in the past. You have Bas Dost, who has one of the best goal scoring records in Europe from the past few years, alongside his compatriot Ruud Vormer. Paul Onuachu is the giant up front for Genk, who once tore Manchester United apart. And you also have fullback combination at Antwerp of Richie Delay and Jordan Lukaku, who you probably also know for playing for Manchester United and playing in Italy. Other players in the league include Stefan Defour, Theo Bogonda, and Hans Vanaken, who are all also very good players, most of which play for Club Brugge. So you can probably tell from the nationality of these key players for the league that there is quite a lot of diversity in the Belgian First Division. Of course, Belgians are the most common nationality in the league, but you also have the French and the Dutch making up a large part of the division. Also common in Belgium is having a second nationality, so a lot of the players that you have, even if they are Belgian, are also eligible for African teams most of the time. This makes scouting for a youth academy very easy, because you can choose any nationalities that you want, and it can be fairly realistic for Belgian football. For example, the second best player in the league comes from Angola, and you also have Nigerians, Congolese, Ukrainians and Senegalese in the top 10 players in the league at the moment. Simply scout Belgium, one of France and Netherlands, and then an African country that you can actually scout on FIFA. This makes it super easy, but one thing you need to be mindful of when you are doing youth scouting in Belgium is to not overtrain your players too much. As you can probably tell, the sort of limit for a player in Belgian football is a 77. There are a few players that are over this rating, but they're usually older and on the decline. Not many young players make it above 75 before they're poached by bigger European clubs, specifically France and England, who seem to target Belgian football at the moment. In the past, players like Yuri Tielemans have made it into the 80s, but this is very rare and they instantly got snatched up by Monaco. To keep it realistic, I would recommend you sell any players who are above a certain rating of your choice if a bid comes in for them from a bigger club than the one you're at. Of course, if you're making it to the latter stages of European football, there is a chance that a team could keep the players, in a way similar to Ajax when it had its recent golden generation, but if you also look at Ajax, you'll see that most of those players have now also been sold, for example De Ligt, Van der Beek and De Jong. Unfortunately, as there are no Belgian stadiums on the game, this doesn't really impact the choice of team you're going to pick. Either you'll want the easier route of choosing one of the better teams in the league, such as Bruges, Antwerp or Anderlecht, or you'll want to choose one of the Road to Glory teams, in which case it doesn't really matter which one you pick, just pick the one that you like the most. I would recommend researching the team you do pick, because usually there will be some interesting history in the past, because the Belgian league does actually have quite a good history of throwing up different winners. At the moment, 8 of the 18 teams in the top flight have won the championship in the past, but of course Anderlecht are the most successful with 34 wins, beating Bruges, who have only had 16. 3 more teams in the top flight have actually been runners-up in the past: Sint-Truiden, Zulte Waregem and Charleroi. So maybe you can try and get the final step with one of these teams if you do want a bit more of a challenge. Overall, I do think Belgium can be a fun and interesting take on their football in Europe. Of course, the national team is having a very good time at the moment, with Lukaku, Hazard, Mertens, the other Hazard, De Bruyne, even Oud-Heverlee and Vertonghen, and let alone Courtois. You have an amazing team that you can try and provide a few more players to make them world champions. If you have any suggestions for other leagues I can have a look at, I think I have a video on the Turkish league coming out very soon, then feel free to drop them in the comments below, and if you liked watching this video, feel free to press the like button too. If you enjoy watching league guides like this, then press the subscribe button so you don't miss out in the future, and you'll get a notification every time I upload a new one. I am planning on doing every league on the game, so this could take me a while, but I'll need your help, so if you do know anything about any of the leagues that I haven't covered so far, get over to my Discord and maybe we can have a chat and you can help me find out a bit more about your leagues. But anyway, thank you for watching today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.